This is what they used to do in the old Soviet Union, but now Europe does it. Europe is using the power of the police to break up and silence their political opponents. People are like, Jimmy, when are you going to start talking about Moldova? Well, here it is. We're doing it. Moldova, if you don't know where Moldova is, it's right here. So there's Ukraine, there's Russia, there's the Black Sea, there's Romania, there's Moldova. So it's right there. See where it is?
Oh,
and
I thought it was in Marvel Comics only. I
so
didn't know it
no,
was a
so
place.
Ukraine is in between Moldova and the Black Sea. So if you live in Moldova and you want to go for a swim, you got a good chance of being ripped off a street corner and thrown into a van and have to go fight. So you really need to go to the beach. So there it is. So Moldova, and what have they done? Why do I bring up Moldova? Because they banned pro-Russian party from their elections. So this is the opposite. These people are now the Chinese communist fascists that they claim. So all of Eastern Europe, all of the European Union is like this. So Moldova's central. So it says here, the pro-Russian Heart of Moldova party was barred from the election after a court ruling limited the party's activities for 1 year over allegations of voter bribery, illegal party financing, and money laundering. So this is what a government does when it wants to silence its opposition. That's what this is. The same way you remember in Romania when they had the election and they didn't like how it turned out, they just annulled the election and they barred the guy who won from running again because they said he was
Russian.
Because he's too.
Jimmy, imagine letting another country exert that kind of influence on your voting process.
Yeah. So Moldova has a pro-Russian party and another anti-Russian party. Wow. We just have two parties in America, and they both love Israel no matter what.
Yeah.
So
I don't even know why they fight. They get along on the big issues.
So Moldova's central. So I'm just showing you this, not because you care about Moldova, but it's a highlight into what Europe is doing. Europe is becoming fascist. They're putting you in jail for speech. They're putting you in jail for tweets. They're putting you in jail for Facebook posts. They have open borders and flooding their country with immigrants. At the same time, if you say anything about it, they throw you in jail for it. They're not only that, but they're overthrowing elections that don't go the way they want. They're barring people from from running for electoral office that they don't like. And they just did it again in Moldova. That's why I'm showing you this. The electoral body said in a statement that all Heart of Moldova members will be removed from the list of candidates, giving its parent political bloc 24 hours to adjust the list and to meet the representation thresholds required by law. Wow. So, by the way, the Heart of Moldova. So the move to bar the Heart of Moldova from the election comes after a court ruling limited the party's activities for 1 year, as it has been the subject of an investigation into illegal party financing. Heart of Moldova sounds more like the asshole of Moldova, doesn't it? And I'm surprised I didn't already work there when I was coming up in the comedy biz. Welcome to the Moldova Laugh Bunker. Please welcome the comedy stylings of Jimmy Dore. And by the way, be sure to catch me this weekend at Hermosa Beach, Sacramento, and San Francisco. See you there. Heart of Moldova said the attack against it was baseless. This isn't justice, but a final act of a dirty show orchestrated in advance by authorities with a single goal: to silence us. That's what this is.
Well, it could be worse. It could be like Germany in 70 if you just die at once and we don't talk about it again.
Yeah. The election on Sunday is a highly critical test for Moldova, a former Soviet republic that has been a candidate for European Union membership since 2022. The current ruling party, the Pro-European Party of Action and Solidarity, has held a strong parliamentary majority since 2021, but it now faces a bloc of 4 Russian-friendly parties, of which Heart of Moldova was a part. No kidding. Officials in Moldova have warned that Russia has spent hundreds of millions of euros to sway the outcome of the election with an alleged vote-buying operation. Moscow has repeatedly denied meddling in Moldova's politics. Earlier this month, Heart of Moldova party members were subject to searches that led to allegations of voter bribery, illegal party financing, and money. So do you see what they're doing? So this is what they do in North Korea. This is what they do in China. This is what they used to do in the old Soviet Union. But now Europe does it. Europe is using the power of the police to break up and silence their political opponents. That's what I thought that only banana republics and third world countries in China did. Party leaders Erna Vla. That sounds like what a magician says when he's drunk. Blah. Anyway, party leader Erna Vla, who was also sanctioned by several EU member states this week on suspicion of assisting Russian interference. Vla has been banned from entering Latvia, Estonia, and Poland, where she's been accused of helping the Russian Federation interfere in the preparations for the parliamentary elections. Wow.
Did she, though? I have a question. Are they really that pro-Russian, these parties? Or
no,
is this how it's being reported?
They're just not pro-war for Europe, for Ukraine. Glenn Greenwald says the European Union continues to have opposition leaders and parties banned from the ballot in the name of saving democracy. That's the ultimate irony here. And when they neglect to do that because they didn't realize the opposition candidate would win, they just cancel and redo the election like they did in Romania. So we covered that. They had an election in Romania. They failed to get the pro-Russian candidate off the ballot. He wins. They cancel the election. And then they ban that guy from running. That's not democracy, folks. That's the opposite of democracy. That's authoritarianism.
Did Jon Stewart pick up that story by any chance for his...
I don't think Jon Stewart did pick up that story.
Oh.
Remember this? Here it is. Romanian far-right pro-Russian candidate barred from presidential vote. Why? Because he won.
Yeah.
That's why. Because he won. So they're saying only democracy if it works out the way we want. If it doesn't work out the way we want, we call the guy who won far right and pro-Russian. They call everything far right now. I'm a right winger because I'm against censorship. I'm for free speech. I'm against the Ukraine war. I'm for bodily autonomy. All these things used to be solid lefty positions. They now call you a right winger for. I'm skeptical of big pharma. I'm skeptical of the government mandating medical treatments. Those used to be bedrock lefty opinions. And now, if you have those opinions, you're considered a far right and pro-Russian.
Their brand's in decline, Jimmy.
And that's it.
We got to pivot.
Remember this? Zelensky has consolidated Ukraine's TV outlets and dissolved rival political parties. This is what they're doing in Europe, folks. They're silencing political opposition, just like Zelensky did in Ukraine. He got rid of the media that was critical of him, and he got rid of the rival political parties.
Well, in World War II, didn't we get rid of any other political parties except FDR's?
So here,
and delay all elections.
So Glenn Greenwald tweets this out. This is the guy who's the head of Telegram. Here's Telegram CEO Pavel explaining that during his detention in France, remember he got arrested in France? French intelligence tried to coerce him and Telegram to ban opposition accounts in Moldova.
Oh, no kidding.
The European Union has no limits on what it will do to control election outcomes. They did this for Moldova. So they arrested him to get him to censor people. And that I was always told that's what Nazis do. That's what communists do.
China has better elections.
That's what fascists do. That's what China does. You're right. China has better elections. So here's what he said. About a year ago, while I was stuck in Paris, the French intelligence services reached out to me through an intermediary, asking me to help the Moldovan government censor certain Telegram channels ahead of the presidential elections in Moldova. After reviewing the channels flagged by French and Moldovan authorities, we identified a few that clearly violated our rules, and we removed them. The intermediary then informed me that in exchange for this cooperation, French intelligence would say good things about me to the judge. He was arrested in France, who had ordered my arrest in August last year. This was unacceptable on several levels. If the agency did in fact approach the judge, it constituted an attempt to interfere in the judicial process. If it did not, and merely claimed to have done so, then it was exploiting my legal situation in France to influence political developments in Eastern Europe, a pattern we have also observed in Romania. Shortly thereafter, the Telegram team received a second list of so-called problematic Moldovan channels. Unlike the first, nearly all of these channels were illegitimate and fully compliant with our rules. Their only commonality was that they voiced political positions disliked by the French and Moldovan governments. We refuse to act on this request. Telegram is committed to freedom of speech and will not remove content for political reasons. I will continue to expose every attempt to pressure Telegram into censoring our platform. Stay tuned. That was September 28th.
Wow, he's even worse than Elon Musk.
Moldova's pro-European Union party wins pivotal election. No kidding. No kidding.
Is anybody who runs for office in Moldova part of a their own goddamn country party?
Right.
It's very strange that this is only framed in terms of what outer, larger country are you for?
Right.
Not anything that might be your own concern.
Democracy wins and Russia loses in Moldova. That's what this person says. Democracy wins? No, democracy lost. They got rid of the will of the people. That's how just like in Romania, when the people voted, the powers that be said, no, we're going to throw out that election to save democracy.
Can't believe the country run by Dr. Doom is getting pushed around like this.
Yeah. Okay, so that's why I told you about Moldova, because it's just part of the plan from France to the UK to Sweden to Germany to Brussels to Ukraine to Romania, now Moldova. They're not about freedom. They're not about democracy. This is authoritarian takeover of Europe. And they're doing it under the guise of saving democracy. Of course, there used to be a saying, when fascism comes to America, it will look like anti-fascism. And that's what this is. So they say, oh, we're fighting fascism. We're fighting for democracy. No, but you're actually instituting fascism.
By the way, it looks like fascism.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm not fooled by the Reuters thing.
Yeah. No, they'll try to dress it up as anti-fascism.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what they're doing. Not working. I mean, it's working temporarily. The people of Europe haven't revolted completely, which they should.
With what? They're sporks? They're disarmed.
Yeah, I think they're disarmed,
they
right?
want a camera on every street corner and a dick on every first lady by 2030.
Hey, what are your biggest concerns right now when it comes to your money and your savings? Is it the fact that the national debt is now over $37 trillion and climbing by another trillion every 100 days? Is it inflation, the high cost of living, and the fear that your dollar buys less every single month? Well, maybe it's the fact that U.S. treasuries are no longer the bedrock of global finance, or that BRICS nations are actively working to dethrone the dollar. Even Bank of America has warned the dollar has already lost 10.7% of its value since January and is teetering on collapse. Add to that banks failing and the domino effect of debt threatening to bring everything down with it. If you're worried about your savings, your 401k, or your IRA, you're not alone. But here's the good news. You don't have to sit and wait for disaster. Call my friends at the Monetary Gold. They'll help you build a personalized game plan that moves a portion of your vulnerable paper assets into something real, gold and silver. Unlike the dollar, unlike Wall Street, precious metals never lose their value. Robert Kiyosaki calls this the everything bubble. And when it bursts, you don't want to be left destitute. There's only one answer. Protect yourself with precious metals before it's too late. Pick up the phone, call Monetary Gold today at 800-476-7790 and secure your future. Visit jimmylovesgold.com or call 800-476-7790 right now. Come see me on tour in Hermosa Beach, Sacramento, San Francisco, Irvine, California, Australia, and Burbank, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.